To be safe going into business, you really needed to build a clientele. If you want to build a business, you should build it on staff and not rather than just yourself like I do.
Yep.
Yeah. You can't muck around too long. You've got to sort of get into it.
Yeah, but it just fascinates me how you built your client base to there.
I've never spent money on advertising. I think I grew up with a father that was always a worker. You just get out and get your finger out.
Yep.
And stop fucking around and make it happen.
I always say to everyone, the weight feels different when it's yours. People aren't just going to walk in your door just because you've opened the business.
Yeah, it's the stress of it that I just went, I think I'm done. But I find it hard to imagine doing anything else.
Hello everyone, my name's Graham Strang and I hope my younger self is listening. Tonight's guest is a man called Just Jason is what he told me to call him. But actually Jason Cherry, who owns Hair by Design. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. You want to get right into this? Shake hands. See? There we go. See, that's where we're going. All right. So to start off with, I had it wrong. I wrote down 23 years. I've actually been cutting hair for 26 years.
Well, I've been hairdresser for a lot longer than that, but in business for myself.
In business for 26 years. So how long have you been cutting hair for then?
Over 30.
Over 30?
Yeah.
But you were born in Roma.
Yes. Yeah. From Surat, really.
From Surat, really. Well, that is more technical.
Because you couldn't have, not too many babies were born in Surat, unless it was no choice in the matter.
Exactly. So how long were you in Surat before you moved away?
Preschool to grade 12. Yep.
So do you remember much of the early days of Surat as a kid?
Oh, yeah. Mum and Dad are still there, so I go home a lot. Well, not a lot, but Christmas and
Well, I'm from Winton. That's about how much I go home to.
It's not as far as that, thankfully.
Because they were in transport and
Dad's a truck driver.
Dad's a truck driver. Do you have any memories of Surat that stick with you?
I think I'm so tied to the town. My best friends are from there. I still see a lot of the people from school. It's they become more than in a small community. They're not just someone you went to school with. You grew up with them. Yeah,
you're almost related in many ways.
Yeah, and then often you are because a smaller town isn't everyone married.
Well, it probably happens less now that I'm older. But you'd always go home and someone would say to you, "Oh, I changed your nappy." Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
Not a good thought, but it happens.
So your grandparents had a lot to do with the show circuit, pony club, those sorts of things.
Yeah, my grandfather was the president a lot of the time and had life membership, and Nan did a lot of the admin stuff, so grew up on a horse.
I was about to say you would have towed round well with them.
Yeah, because my father's side of the family were all football. Dad actually played professional for Dolphins back in the day.
No, the original Redcliffe Dolphins.
Yeah, the original. Yeah. That was when we were there as a kid and before we moved back to Surat. But yeah, Nan and Pop had horses and Dad's side of the family were football.
So your influences were trucks, football.
Not that I followed that
side of the family. No, I was going pony club, show circuit.
Yeah. But
you were always pulled towards that hairdressing, music side of your life, or?
Yeah, I was never interested in football.
No.
Sport in that regard. So horses seemingly didn't seem like sport.
No.
Like football, cricket, all of that. I mean, I had a go a couple of times, but it was just not my thing.
So, but I do want to hear about a primary school project on hairdressing and perming your sister's hair.
Oh, well, I remember in primary school we had to do a project, and I even knew then that's what I wanted to do. So I do have it somewhere at home, but any chance I got, like I was doing terrible things to my sister's hair and my little cousin.
Has she forgiven you, or?
Well, she loved it because she's a bit young. She's 5 years younger than me, so I could talk her into
you're right. Yeah, okay. I can see how this conversation.
It was the 80s, so perming and
big hair,
puffball, poodle fringe to go to school, and she thought she was very cool.
Should the poodle fringe come back?
Not in that form, no. Once was enough, I think.
So did you find a way to get into hairdressing even though that the age, at that primary school age? Did you find a way to be involved around it or learning from a local hairdresser or?
Well, yeah, because it was such a small town, there was only one hairdresser, and she only worked 1 day a week or so.
Yeah.
At the time. And so, you started doing perms for some friends of the family and that for the nana perm and whatnot. And then I was helping the hairdresser once I was in high school. Did a bit of on the holidays and stuff like that, just sweeping floors. And yeah, I just wanted to be a part of it no matter what. So, yeah.
Look, it's funny when a lot of people find their passions really early. A lot of people find their passions when they're 40. I'm almost jealous of someone like you who knew from the outset it's what I want to do.
Yeah, I didn't consider anything else. It was just, I was a bit single-minded, I've been told.
So how did you move from obviously helping out with the hairdresser, attacking every family member inside
That would sit.
that would sit still? How did you actually go and then take it into turning it into what you wanted to do?
So I did the pre-apprenticeship course in Toowoomba. I moved here after finishing grade 12 in Roma. And that was 6 months full time at the time. They don't do it like that anymore. So did that for 6 months. And then I actually went to Gundawindi for 3 months because I was working for a salon that had a salon in Toowoomba. So went out there for 3 months and then came back again.
So do you remember the first proper salon job you got?
Yeah. Well, we were doing work experience as
Yep.
part of where we didn't get paid. So I guess I don't know. That's a proper job if you're not getting.
Oh, I'm talking about the one you actually got paid to do.
Oh yeah. Well, that was to go to Gundawindi. Yeah,
Yep.
as a first year apprentice. Yeah,
Mm.
because we were offered. They were the owner was from Toowoomba,
Yep.
so they offered free accommodation, and as a first year, I couldn't afford not to.
That's a pretty sweet deal, really.
Yeah, but we had to live and work with the manageress.
Ah,
We had to live together.
Yep.
So it could have gone very, very badly, but it didn't.
So did it feel different going from, doing all the family, doing your apprenticeship to all of a sudden, I'm getting paid to do this?
I loved it. Yeah. Because I finally got to do, like to actually start doing it rather than just learning that you.
So what took you to then moving on to going, I want to do this for myself? Was there a hunger early for that?
Probably not straight up. No. And I sort of knew that to be safe going into business, you really needed to build a clientele.
Yep.
And have a following before you go off and, start a business, open the doors.
So how old were you when you opened the doors?
I'm not even sure. Mid-20s? Yeah.
It's not that long ago, is it?
No, it doesn't seem like that. That's why I don't like numbers out loud in relation to my age.
So did you buy an existing salon to get off the ground, or did you rent a chair?
I rented a room. Yeah. So
actually, probably most people won't know what they mean by renting a room or a chair.
This one, like renting a chair is fairly common.
Yep.
But renting the room was the beauty salon had an actual room with just 2 mirrors and a basin. So you could rent that space set up. And that was how I started. Yeah. Which, that was the scariest thing, just renting that little room. Like moving on from there probably wasn't as scary as that initial, like, what am I doing?
I always say to everyone, the weight feels different when it's yours. And also, you think you know a lot until you open the doors, and all of a sudden you don't know a lot. And you've got to find a way to just learn the tricks, because it's anything like when I first got into this, just understanding numbers was not something that was natural to me. Did you have much of that when you first got going?
The budgeting, the numbers in that regard. Yeah, I've never had to, stock control, all of the, and tax and, well, I don't think we had GST.
No, that was a Johnny Howard thing in,
Yeah.
what was that? Mid-90s, early 90s.
Yeah, late 90s.
Yeah. The tax we had to have.
Yeah, that you're collecting for someone else.
Mm.
All of that stuff was really hard going. It's having to be disciplined.
And did you ever have any moments there you think, have I done the right thing? Have I done the wrong thing? What have I done?
I was terrified for the first, I'd say at least year, if not more, because, with provisional tax and all that sort of stuff back in the day, it was all, my parents being self-employed, you had a little bit of an idea, but when doing the sums and how do I get to that point?
Did you have any influences or any mentors around that you were helping you through the process, or was just figured it out for yourself? And
Um, a woman that I'd worked for was then renting a chair off me, sort of in the second half of that renting a room thing. Um, so she was great because she'd been there, done that herself. So, but I'd worked for her, so you'd see how salons run, and then you could always see the things that you would do or things you wouldn't do. I think working in other people's salons and watching their processes, you sort of work out the things that do work, and then obviously what not to do.
oh, look, and it's a hard thing to learn, isn't it? Because everyone, especially when you first start out, your brain tells you, I can do it better than everyone else.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people buy a business and think they're going to change the world. It's I see a lot of hair salons, people buy it and change it immediately.
The only thing I find you change is your blood pressure and your heart rate.
Yeah, and your bank balance.
I have a line I use constantly, and it's called "Small business is not for the faint-hearted, but it is something that you'll probably love as much as your family."
Yeah.
At what point did you have your first staff member?
I don't think. Yeah, no, I didn't employ anyone as. I had school-based trainees, so I guess they're an employee. I started with that first. It was sort of dip your toe, because they're only one day a week, and then Saturdays if you wanted them. So yeah, I did have a few young ones back then.
Did it change in the game slightly because all of a sudden you had not only you've got yourself nice and organized, you then have to manage someone?
Yeah. I mean, hairdressing's like that though. You need the help, so you can't muck around too long. You've got to sort of get into it.
Yep.
But the school-based stuff is so good for that. It's the commitment's not as high as a full-time.
So you've got your room. You've got 2 chairs in there.
Yep.
2 chairs. Your basin. When did it grow to a point that you went, okay, now I need to have my own space?
Well, even within that that one little room, I was there about 2.5, 3 years. I only lasted 6 or 8 months, and the woman that owned the business knew I was a bit of a cash cow, I think. So it was like she moved me into a bigger room. So I had 2 basins and 4 chairs and sort of doubled the space. Which was brilliant. And that was when I got a school-based apprentice and someone rented a chair, and you started to feel like you were
going forward,
doing a business.
All of a sudden people were coming in and out, and you got to know your accountant a lot better, I assume.
Yeah, that's one of the big things is finding an accountant that you like or trust or have some relationship with.
And it doesn't matter if you go through a couple.
The first one wasn't great.
No.
Really didn't set me up with, like goals to hit as far as this is what you're going to have to pay at this point. And I sort of was a bit naive about that part of it.
Yeah. Oh, and look, it's a strange thing to just say to people that not all accountants are good, because everyone thinks it's just numbers. But your relationship with your accountant is so important because you have to trust them because they're handling your numbers. They're the ones sending you your BAS bill. They're the ones, doing all your reporting, and a good one wants you to question them at times as well, because well, why is that number so big or so low? And if you can't have that conversation with them, they might not be the right people for you.
No, I did. I ended up, my longest term accountant was someone I did the hair. Yeah.
Well,
because you got to know, and I still do her hair now, even though she's not actually accounting anymore.
So how did you build your client base? Because there's a thousand ways to market your business. There's a thousand ways to put yourself out there. But how did you do it?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. And then it probably sound a bit snobby or what have you, but you get the type of people you want then, because they're generally, within friendship groups and whatnot, they're very similar types of people.
I'm finding in that sort of the hairdressing beauty game is that if you're any good, you're almost handpicking your clients in many ways too.
Well, later on.
Yeah,
At the start, of course.
That's starting when you was like,
Yeah,
come on.
you can't afford to.
But as you grew, like,
Yeah.
one of the things that I read in the notes is that you're not taking on any more clients.
No, I can't. Yeah.
No, you've got such a good client base now that
I can't keep up with it most of the time.
and
yeah.
you don't want, you've started here, done this, and then you've reached a point that you were happy with, and it's working well for you. But it just fascinates me how you built your client base to there.
Yeah, literally word of mouth. I've never done advertising as such.
Yep.
I remember we did an ad when I bought Hair by Design, the business, just to let people know that I'd moved. But yeah, I've never spent money on advertising, because each salon I'd worked in, when I saw what they were advertising, I just thought they're really just advertising special chases.
Yep.
Yeah. And as a hairdresser, I don't think that's ever been great, unless you're opening the doors and you have no clientele or following to start with. And I guess you do have to probably go to that angle.
Isn't it amazing, like with word of mouth, because social media has become the next big word of mouth.
Yeah.
But if you look at your reputation, even your reputation now is stellar. And once you built that there, do you still have many people come chasing you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say no to people.
No.
Yeah, especially if they've, sought you out.
But that's the loyalty we're talking about, because if you've been doing this 30 years, what's your oldest client then?
Longest that they've been with me,
Yeah.
or just oldest?
Oh,
Yeah.
a bit of both.
Well, the oldest one I think is 95. She's still coming for a colour every month, and while they can wheel her in, she'll keep coming, she says. Just because she is old doesn't mean she has to look old, is her thing. But I think I've got one client that I think I started cutting her hair when I was a third year apprentice. And yeah, she's still coming.
So it'll be almost 27 years.
Yeah, well.
If you said you've been doing about 30, so we'll call it about 27.
Yeah.
Does that give you a sense of pride, knowing that you've got people like that just, you've set yourself up in a way that they will keep coming back?
Yeah, yeah. But you become like, it's a weird sort of a dynamic of friendship and being the hairdresser and stuff, because you know so much about them over the years.
Yes. So it sort of evolves from a haircut through to a social call?
Yeah, in a lot of ways. And, a lot of the ones that are most of mine are like 4, 5 or 6 at most,
Yep.
every week. But then there were the ones that used to come every week, the little old ladies having their shampoo set or blow dry that, every Friday at 1:30 or what have you. And so those ones especially, you get to know even more because you're seeing them every week.
Oh, look, I wish that we could build this place just like you're talking about, that word of mouth and that loyalty, and it's the retail game's a little bit different to that. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because your game is very different to ours, and I just find anyone who wants to go into that hairdressing beauty game, because they're a similar-ish, I assume,
similar.
is that if you want to give a piece of advice to someone going into your game, what would be something you would tell them that would resonate?
Have a clientele before you open the doors. Yeah, if you don't want to freak yourself out and worry yourself to death.
Patience.
Yeah, work for people and build up your clientele and then move on and do it. Or you've got to have a lot of money behind you, which,
money.
I didn't. Yeah, so I didn't have that choice.
A small business, as we were talking about, is not for the faint-hearted, and like any small business, you've had a few setbacks and things that have gone on. What do you reckon the biggest challenge you've had in operating?
Staff.
Staff?
Yeah.
Can you expand on why?
Because it's such a personal thing, like even like I was saying, how you build a clientele and then you move on and take them with them, take the staff, the clients with you. That sort of thing happens, that you have people working for you and they come and go. Yeah, and then people being reliable and yeah, because you can't just in the size of salon I have, you can't. There's no one to fill in, and normally people are booked to have someone do their hair. So if they don't turn up,
You're in trouble.
yeah, it's just bedlam trying to. You can't really juggle it if you booked yourself if the other person doesn't turn up.
And then it creates some angst, and then the stress levels go up, and
Trauma.
trauma. So did you make any decisions around staff? You know, obviously you had staff at some point and you were growing the business, and then you made a decision not to have them.
Well, it ended up that way because I had a woman that worked for me for I think nearly 18 years, 17 and something years. So I was very, very spoiled.
Yes.
With Janet. She's like the unicorn of employees.
Came in, did their job, did it well.
She had 4 kids, well, has 4 kids, and never had a sick day.
Really?
Never.
Did you clone her?
Yeah, well, that's what I say. She's the like mythical beast that, you know, she was a trooper. And even when she was sick, she would turn up, organize stuff, and go home. And yeah, she was just one of those people that you couldn't rattle her. And the most reliable person I think I've probably ever met. Yeah. And she worked with me for that long, so she can't.
So what are you saying? She's very tolerant as well? Or?
Very, very, very. She was known to be, unflappable. Yeah.
The on top of, was it hard adjusting to then just going back to just you?
It was a bit. It's certainly quieter, but yeah, answering the phone and all of the admin stuff and the cleaning and all of those things you share, we did share as a, salon. Suddenly it's all you again, which it hadn't been like that, for, what was it, 20-something years. Yeah.
So you found yourself yelling at the cleaner a lot then?
Yeah, there's a lot of internal monologues going on.
You can't discipline yourself very well.
Yeah, the boss wasn't very sympathetic.
So you never got tempted to have another one, or you went, you know what, this is actually working for me?
Yeah, it's the stress of it that I just went, I think I'm done with. You never say never, because if someone came along that, wanted a job and had clientele, that's the thing. I've just seen too many businesses go under because they're paying people
Where to do
there's
half a
nothing to
job.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably leads on to my next bit here. There's always setbacks, and one thing you got to note in here I've got is about 2 things. One is budgeting became survival, and you had to keep going on to make sure the bills were paid. Can you expand on what it was like is when you're in those times where business wasn't as great, and you're looking at your bills at the other end going, how am I going to pay these?
I think I grew up with a father that, he's just was always a worker. You just get out and get your finger out and stop fucking around and make it happen. So that one foot after the other, you just got to get to work and do the best you can.
So how did you do that then?
Well, you just have to. It's the personal relationships with your clients, and if you were looking for new clients, you'd say to people, oh, have you got any friends? Like to increase your clientele that way.
It's unique talking to you about this sort of stuff, because the game I'm in is that if I tried to rely on just word of mouth, I'd probably crash and burn.
Yeah.
But that whole, and we're talking 80s, 90s, 2000s. So, the world evolved, but I just love the fact that you were able to go to someone and go, Oh, I do have some openings. I'm assuming you filled them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You were never waiting too long. Did you ever have a waiting list of people that would want you to ring them?
Not as such, but I'm constantly juggling appointments with waiting lists of people who'd like to get in earlier than they can.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a constant juggling.
And you talk about the stress of doing it. One of the things that I always like to find out from small business owners is, how do you cope with stress?
I laugh a lot and I talk a lot. And I think I'm lucky in that regard that hairdressing, you're one-on-one with people
Yep.
all the time. So you do, yeah, and you know, you have a whinge and what have you been up to since last time. But I think the good thing is often you hear yourself and you think, oh Jesus, what a whingy bastard. Like, you know, and you have
Well,
a
I hope
laugh
that
about it
doesn't
with
come
your
across on
clients.
the camera on here.
Yeah, you laugh with your clients because they know you quite well as
Yeah.
well. And so then when you're saying, you know, and you're having a, you know, really sulky whinge, you go, oh, Jesus, that's pathetic. Like, move on, like, or do something about it. Don't keep whinging because that's boring and no one likes that.
The dreaded sentence, well, actually, words, work-life balance.
Mm.
Did you ever figure it out, or did you ever go too far one way, both ways?
I've always been a bit sort of regimented in my, you know, work is work and
Home is home.
Yeah, I haven't cut anyone's hair at home for a very, very long time. Um, as soon as I had a salon, even mum and dad coming and visiting, I'd be like, you got to come to the shop. I'm not,
Creating that.
yeah, and I don't answer many, I probably do more now because it's just me, but I don't answer messages and people know not to ring me, you know, out of work hours.
If they're ringing you, it's for social, not for work.
Yeah, yeah. And they can send messages and that, but I go, look, I'll just have to look when I'm back in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you keep your clients making sure that if you've booked them for 10 a.m. and they were turning up at 10:15, how did you help educate them that they had to?
I've been told my non-verbals are very strong. Yeah. So and yeah, I'm known for it, that don't turn up late. You know, it's because I can't get that time back and I don't have anyone to help me.
Yeah, and I suppose if you've got an hour booking and they turn up 15 minutes late and you've got to accomplish an hour's work in 45
Well, and
minutes.
you say you've missed quarter of your appointment. Do you want me to do a quarter less of your hair? You know,
I would pay money to see you say that to someone. I'm assuming you probably have.
I do all the time.
Because I suppose you push that 15 minutes into your next appointment, and by the end of your day, you're running an hour behind, and all it does is upset people.
And everyone gets upset
Yeah.
because, especially from the start of the day, you know, you're scratching, then you don't want to rush people because of the first person. Like, have other people miss out a bit.
I have to ask, what's Delise like as a client?
Oh, she's very easy.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
See, I
To say
mentioned
that on
you. I
camera.
mentioned you. You're gonna have to watch it now. Yeah. Delise is my sister-in-law. Very beautiful creature, by the way. If you have to think of something around what you wish you knew earlier, what would you, in small business, would you like to tell yourself?
I think it's hard with hairdressing, but if you want to build a business, you should build it on staff and not rather than just yourself, like I do.
Yeah.
Because I can't sell a business, even if I want to change careers or whatever, I can't sell it for anything much because I'm the business. Yeah.
Funny enough, Jack, who's on the other side of the fourth wall over there, and I've been talking about that because one of the things I'm trying to do myself out of is a job. I'm trying to set this up to run so that if we do want to sell it down the track, because at the moment it is a lot of me.
Yeah.
And me and me and me. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self and tell them something, whether it be personal or work, what would you tell them?
Oh, I don't know that I would have listened.
What would you have tried to tell them?
Yeah, I think it's in business sense. I probably should have built a bigger salon with a lot more staff. Yeah. to be able to have some time and, like for all the admin and the stuff and that to be able to not be behind the chair every minute of the day.
Yeah. I find it interesting when I'm talking to people about what they wish they knew earlier. I've had all sorts of different responses, but some of the stuff that seems to be very consistent is around, I wish earlier I had decided to pull myself back, and how you're number 25, 26, 26, 26, I think we're up to. It's just about every person has said the same thing, that they wish they'd pulled themselves back. How do we help educate someone who's going into business and saying, just remember there will be a growth point?
Oh, yeah, from my point of view, I don't know, because I don't know how I would have ever done that.
Yep. It's all right.
It's a nice idea.
Yeah, it
but
just popped into my head as a question because I don't know how I would tell someone either. It's taking the leap is very hard.
Having the belief in yourself that
well, it's like committing to someone for the rest of your life. It's one of those steps you take whether you believe you're doing the right thing. In the end, it works out.
Yeah.
We tend to find someone we like. Love you. All right, so I've got one for you that I find, even doing a little bit of business coaching and helping people. You opened your business, you've opened the doors, it's amazing and wonderful. Where do the people come from?
I see that so much, and as from a hairdressing point of view, there's often people, as soon as they finish their apprenticeship, they want to open a shop and be the next best hairdresser in town, but they haven't got the experience, and then they haven't watched people even do it. So I think that's a huge thing, is to watch some people, get some experience, and try to learn from other people's mistakes rather than your own in that regard.
It doesn't matter the industry, does it? It's that whole, people aren't just going to walk in your door just because you've opened a business.
And have a plan of, in this day and age with social media and that, it's a bit different, but you can build a clientele with hairdressing before you open the doors, because it'll be a hell of a lot easier. I'm glad I didn't try to do it any sooner when I did it. And I probably could have done it a little bit sooner than I did, but that self-belief that, oh geez, can I make this work? Is it going to be enough? But opening the doors doesn't mean people will come in. No, they've got to know you there. They've got to know who you are.
Yeah. If they're not coming in, you got to go find them.
Yeah, you got to go out and get them. Yeah.
So, 26 years in business, 30 plus years hairdressing. Well, if you look back on that whole journey, do you feel satisfied with it?
Yeah. I think about it all the time, and as you get older, is this it? Like, am I doing this till I, keel over behind the chair one day, probably? But I find it hard to imagine doing anything else that has the same things for me, the social outlet, the artistic outlet, and sense of achievement. Every client that walks out, you feel like you've made a change, you've done something, and a lot of the time you feel like you're helping a bit, just having a yarn about what's going on in their lives, and they look better. Well, hopefully.
Of course they do. You're cutting their hair. Of course they're going to look better. Yeah, it just always interests me asking people about that, because reflection is a tricky thing, because everyone gets a bit caught on legacy and all that sort of stuff. I'm not a great believer in legacy because, as you know, once you're in the ground, you start to disappear immediately. And that's why I enjoyed your answer, that you actually feel quite satisfied with what you've done.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm passing the torch or anything like that. Like, I've had a number of apprentices and trainees and whatnot, but also normally they're sort of early stage and then they move on to a bigger salon. That's how it's normally gone. So I don't feel like I'm, passing it on to the next generation as much as I probably should.
You probably have been. You're probably just not realizing it. If you're getting all these kids on their way, you will have had influence there somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Even if it is telling people not to be 15 minutes late.
Yeah. Yeah. The timing.
Well, we move on to the book of questions now. Now, Steve and Jenny Berlin from Jack's Tires have written in the last question here.
All right.
You get to open the book. read it out for the crowd, and give us your answer. If you're from around here, chances are you've had something embroidered, print, or pressed by us. And if you haven't, come look us up.
Righto. So Steve and Jenny have said, how do you value / measure success? Well,
That's a good one.
I'm not sure, because a lot of people would measure it as money and, like how, I guess, yeah, I feel successful because I think I've,
It's a really good question, isn't it? It's making me think about it too.
I feel like I've done what I can and
enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I still do. I don't really have many days where I think, oh, I want to get out of bed today, or I don't want to go to work, or and I think that's always a good thing, that I don't have that, oh, I can't stand this anymore.
Look, I think that is success in itself, because if you love what you do, what's that line? If you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, me, I love what I do, and a lot of my days work. But that's I'll take that answer. If I can, when I finish doing what I'm doing, I can say, you know what, I feel pretty good about it. I think that would do me.
I don't regret going into business at all.
Well, you get to write your question in now.
Oh, yep.
And just write your name and then the question below it, and we'll leave it for the next poor person.
Right. Do you want to know what the question is?
No. We don't tell anyone the question.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I get to hit them between the eyes with it, just like I hit you. That stumped answer is actually really good. I enjoy it because it makes people really think about it.
There you go.
All right, close him up.
Done.
Perfect. Good job. Well done. So we're coming towards the end. So it's one of the funny things I always ask people about what's next. Our conversation has been a bit different because you're not trying to do that.
Yeah.
You're
plateaued out.
You're at a level that you're actually really comfortable with, and you're actually looking at the other end going, okay, when I'm ready, how do I downscale? So do you have had any thoughts about how you would do that?
Well, I've thought a lot about, setting up at home and having a home-based business.
I thought you didn't want cut hair at home.
Well, separately in a separate room, that's not connected to the house. Yeah.
And so how long do you reckon you've got left in the chair? Oh, well, someone in front of you in a chair, I should say.
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's worth asking the question.
I can't see stopping, is the thing, because I really don't know what else.
But you always look like, so you're like, if you're anything like me, you've always got to be doing something.
Yeah.
So if we've got to be doing something, it must be something that benefits us.
Yeah.
And I like you, and I'm a little bit younger than you, and I keep trying to work out what I'm doing next, or is this what I'm doing for the rest? So I don't know either. And normally at this bit, I sit there and I get you to look at the camera and I said, do you want to advertise your business and that sort of stuff? But you don't really want me to.
Not exactly. Well, no. It's only because I can't cope with more people.
No. If you want to go on a waiting list.
Yeah. Hit me up. You never know.
You never know. But if you look at the camera and tell them your business name and look at where they can find you, at least they can follow you on some sort of social media or...
Yeah, I'm not great at that either.
Oh.
I do have, a Facebook page, but it's a bit dull. Yeah, so I'm at Hair by Design, the Campbell and West Streets. Yeah.
It's easy enough. And to watch The Hard Way, you can hop onto Apple, YouTube and Spotify. Just search The Hard Way by Graham Strang. You can find it. You can better watch this fantastic episode. And outside of that, I think we're done. Mate,
great.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Done.